Okay, can you guys hear me now? Okay, can you guys hear me now? Yay. Sorry, my settings were just set on a different thing, but if you guys can hear me now, say hello, say you can hear something, let me know. Yay, thanks guys. Team call happening now. Get your booties on. Okay, so hopefully my sound is working now. Yay! So I'm gonna get started here in a second, but if at any point something drops off and you guys can't hear me anymore, just let me know either in the comments over here because I have them pulled up, or if you want to just shoot me a quick message or something. If you can't hear, let me know because I want you guys to hear all the content. Holy cow, it is April 4th, I think, today, which is just freaking insane. And I know I say that every week, but you guys, life moves so freaking fast, and I don't think I ever realized just how fast until I started marking out my goals by weeks and then by months and then by years. And literally, I feel like life is just fumbling over itself. Somebody asked me how old I was today, and I said 28 by accident. And Andrew always makes fun of me because I never remember my age, but I realized I'm about to be 30. And my mom today was sending me pictures of when I was a little kid, and it feels honestly like it was yesterday. Like I don't feel like I'm 30. I don't feel, I'm just sort of like, where did the time go? What did I do in that time? And how can I maximize moving forward? Because I know just as this first 30 went, I know the next 30 is going to go pretty dang fast as well. So that's something that I really, I take advantage of a lot with coaching, because I know how amazing and incredible this opportunity is, and how much hard work right now can really get you forward a lot that you cannot, in a way that you cannot do in a traditional job. And that's why I'm so passionate about this business, because ultimately my goal for each and every coach that comes to me and signs up is for them to be able to live a life that they love, with freedom in terms of time, helping people that they want to help, and freedom in terms of money, because those are things that I always struggled with in my life before I came to Beachbody. And that's really what I want to gift to other people, especially with this feeling of time moves freaking fast, you guys, and we're not meant to be here to work our days away, slaving away for someone else on someone else's time clock, and then all of a sudden to wake up and be 60 years old and realize that the next 30 went by super, super fast, and we didn't do anything that we dreamed we could do, and we didn't do anything that made us super happy. And we're always waiting for the weekend, and always waiting for the next raise, and always waiting to pay this bill so we could pay the other bill, and waiting to take a vacation, and waiting to have children, and waiting and waiting and waiting. And that's not how I want anybody on this team to be living their life. And that's literally the intention that I have every time I sign up a new coach, every time I talk to you guys on a call, every time I put a training together, is to help you to build a business that you're proud of and that lets you live a life that you want to live, especially for your family and for the people that really matter. So that's my tangent for the beginning of our call. I made some slides for the call because I had something that I wanted to talk about tonight. If you guys saw, I posted some pre-call sort of pre-work, I guess you could call it like pre-homework, today in the team page. And it was a video that Shalene Johnson did earlier I think it was last night at around 4 o'clock on her social media page. And she talked about the old, if you guys watched it, comment in the chat, tell me you watched it. She talked about the old PIO infomercial. So it came out in 2015 versus the new PIO infomercial that's completely different that came out this year, just a couple months ago. I think it was 2 months ago or so. She said in 2017. And basically, we are in a coach's market right now. We are in a network marketer's market. Every single company that traditionally markets on billboards, on commercials, on Super Bowl Sunday, everyone is moving to the kind of marketing that we do. New school marketing, right? We live in a society where we can have moment-to-moment updates. There were something like 91 million tweets sent out about the election when that was happening. We have real-time connection with people, and that is where marketing is moving. Marketing is moving to Snapchat. Marketing is moving to live videos. Marketing is moving to peer-to-peer, face-to-face. I want to ask you how your experience was with this program, with this product, with whatever it is that you're sharing. And I want you to tell me your experience. What are the other experiences around you? And then I'll decide if I want to take it or not, right? For those of you who don't know, my previous job when I was in corporate America, I had many. I'm sure all of you know my story. And if you're brand new on this call tonight, then you can go and listen to my story in the new coach training. But one of the jobs that I had was in medical marketing. And we concentrated primarily on traditional marketing, right? So we would, things like Mirena, the morning after pill, and there would be teams of people that get together and decide, you know, what demographic is best, what type of person is best, which way do we say this, how do we, what do we pay for what commercial spot, traditional marketing, right? It's kind of like if you can picture a megaphone yelling at you, that's kind of traditional marketing, commercials, things like that. But now we're moving to social media primarily. And I think that there's a really common misconception about marketing and about coaching in general and about having a social media following and about building that and about building that collateral. A lot of new coaches I talk to say, well, I can't be as good as you because I don't have as big as a following, or I don't have a huge transformation with Beachbody, or I don't live an extraordinary life with Beachbody, or I don't have this massive financial success yet, or I don't have this, you know, I don't, kind of comparing and thinking that you have to be extraordinary or interesting or have this really fancy sort of setup and a large following in order to be a good, we're calling it sharesman, right? That's just, could not be more opposite of the case right now. Hold on one second, I'm just gonna shut the door really quick. So because of the way the climate is moving, we are super, super, super lucky. This is like a dream come true for anyone in network marketing, anyone in peer-to-peer relations. This is our time. Everyone is moving to this forum. So I really want to talk about how to run your social media, taking advantage of this new school marketing, right? So I'm going to talk about how you post, how you share as a new coach, as an older coach, and then really talk about some of the parallels between someone who's being a salesman, right? And sometimes that word is super icky. If you guys know me and you've been on a ton of my calls, I say over and over and over again, every single thing that you consume every day was sold to you. Every single business that you're in other than Beachbody is sales. Every single desk job that you go to, no matter how you spin it, no matter what you do, if you're a nurse, if you're a janitor, it all thrives on sales. You would not be able to go into your building every single day and collect a paycheck unless there were some sort of sales going on. Now, there's a difference, right, between an icky salesman and a good salesman, right? There's a difference between a salesman and a sharesman. And we want to stay in the realm of sharesmen. We're super lucky because we're ahead of every single major marketing company that is moving over to this realm. Because since the beginning of Beachbody coaching and the beginning of the move to Facebook, we've been talking about how to be a sharesman versus how to be a salesman. So I want to talk about the parallels between the two and the misconception that you have to be interesting, you have to live this grandiose life, and you have to have this huge financial or physical transformation with Beachbody to be successful, right? Because that's just not the case. So I want to touch a little bit on your homework for the call. So traditionally, Beachbody was an infomercial company. They made their money from putting their programs on infomercials and people buying them on infomercials. Initially, Beachbody was never going to be network marketing. It was never going to introduce the Team Beachbody side of things. So they are really, really good at sales. They're really good at infomercials. They're really good at old school marketing, right? But since the climates have changed, old school marketing doesn't necessarily translate to the new generations, to our generation. So basically what Shalene was talking about in her video was the initial infomercial was sort of a flop because it wasn't anything to do with working out. It was very fancy and polished and, hey, we're on a talk show, we have money, it's extraordinary, it's interesting, we have Maria Menounos, or however you say her last name. Everybody's super dressed up and has Louboutins on and is really, really buttoned up. And this is kind of the parallel between old school coaching and new school coaching. And then this really interesting thing happened, which I think is brilliant on Beachbody's part. They looked at kind of the performance of the infomercial and talked with Shalene, and Shalene said, look, this isn't converting because it's not realistic. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it costs a lot of money. Yeah, it's fancy. Yes, there's transformations, and that's why it was selling a certain amount. However, it's not communicating the new marketing way, right? So this new infomercial, Shalene literally filmed on her iPhone in her house. She's pictured with her dog. There's bloopers of her dog walking through the shot. She's driving in the car with her husband. She's in her bedroom on her iPhone showing plyo moves, right? This is probably the most perfect parallel to coaching. Everyone thinks when they get into this business that they have to have all the answers, they have to have a super polished social media, they have to have all the right things to say, they have to have this huge transformation, they have to have all these followers to be successful or have a big paycheck. But actually, that stuff works against you. That stuff can be cold, that stuff can be old school, that stuff can turn people off. We don't want to be salesmen. We want to be sharesmen. The most important thing on your social media as your tool is to be relatable, to be normal, right? This infomercial, the pictures from the right, the new one from 2017 is #1 and selling an old program, if you can call 2.5 years old, like hotcakes. Because from the person watching it or the person watching your social media, they want to know that you're real. They want to know that they can recreate what you're doing. They want to know that you're relatable. They want to know that you have a dog, you have a husband, you have trials sometimes, you are a person who films things on your iPhone and don't have a fancy video set. They want to relate to you. And that's where everything is moving. That's why we live in a Snapchat society where everyone would rather see the unfiltered 30-second version of you speaking or see a live video of you versus something being super tailored, super paid for, and all of that stuff. This is excellent, amazing news for everyone watching this who completely overthinks coaching, their social media, how to talk to people, all of that. You can throw away all of those notions where I'm not good enough, I don't have a big enough following, I'm not fancy enough, I don't have, all the right answers or the perfect body. That could not be more opposite of the way things are working now, especially with coaching. It's not about being extraordinary, being the best version of everyone, having the most followers, selling the most challenge packs. It's about showcasing that you are real, you're relatable, and another person watching you can feel that from you. So how do you start integrating those things into your own social media? How do you turn your old school infomercial into your new school infomercial? So I want you guys to think about these 3 people at the top, and I use these in a different analogy, in a different presentation, but I want you to think about them in a different way. So all of these people blew up because of a very normal thing. So yes, they're all famous. Yes, they're artists. Yes, they have #1 albums. However, at their most famous points, at their most viral points on the internet, Lady Gaga went viral because she had stomach rolls going over her pants. I want you to think about that. Lady Gaga went viral not because of her performance and how good it was, but because she had stomach rolls going over her pants. Beyonce went viral when she announced her pregnancy. Not because the performance was so good, not because it was outrageous, but because she announced that she was pregnant. Taylor Swift went viral when she announced that she was taking a step back from singing because her mom had cancer and she was going to stay at home and stay silent and be with her family. All very normal things that any average daily person can relate to, can say, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Can say, I stand behind you, I support you, you give me strength, you give me courage, I'm so happy for you. Those are the kind of feelings that you want to have from people following your social media. Not, oh my God, she's so perfect, she works out all the time, she can tell me all the answers, she has this great big transformation. No, you want people to follow you for the things that they relate to. You want people to sit there and say, oh my gosh, me too. You know, there's always this constant struggle with coaches knowing, how do I relate to people in a conversation, or how do I relate to people about Beachbody? Speak like a normal person, right? And there's a couple top tips that we can go through to evaluate your social media to make sure that it's in line with that. Surface level content doesn't connect, right? And I'm going to show you an example of a surface level content and a deeper level content that I really want you to take a close look at. You know, if you're someone, if we look at the same examples at the top, and it's constantly Lady Gaga performed, Lady Gaga performed, Lady Gaga sang this song, here's a video from Lady Gaga singing, that after a while doesn't connect with anyone. If you see Lady Gaga stopped in the airport and bent down to a child with autism and gave him a special present and sang him a song, that's what makes you tune in, right? Because that's normal, that relates to people, that's heartstrings are being tugged. Surface level does not connect. And I'm going to show you an example of exactly what I mean by that. Get real or stay stuck. So does anyone listening to this call ever feel like, I've been posting about my workouts every day, I've been posting about my clean eating every day, but I just feel stuck, no one's committing? Because are you saying why you're eating clean, why it's hard to eat clean, what the hard choices you made today were, why you're committing to it, what it's giving you, the feelings that it's giving you? Or are you just simply stating on a surface level value, this is what I'm doing today and this is why you should do it too? Number 3, become a constant in other people's lives. Now, I always use this example, but it's really worth it. You know, if every single day you went down to a stand and picked up a New York Times, and then all of a sudden the New York Times wasn't there for 3 days in a row, would you or would you not pick up a Washington Post that's right next to it that has the same exact stories, just in a different compilation? Of course you would. To motivate someone, to build a business, to create consistency, to push that ball up the hill so that it rolls down, you must become a constant in others' lives. And that translates to posting 3 to 5 times per day, showing up every single day, sharing your journey first. Because again, if you're not showing that you're relatable and you're going through struggles and you're committing, how can we expect anyone to commit to us, right? The BFF rule. This is a really interesting thing. So in the beginning of my coaching journey, I was having such a hard time coming up with posts. I was following other coaches and I started to sound like a freaking robot on my social media, which is not relatable, right? No one wants to come there and hear and read something and think, oh my gosh, did she rehearse this a million times? This doesn't sound like anything she would say in real life. So what I recommend is, if you wouldn't say that on the phone to your BFF, if you wouldn't say that out loud to someone, don't write it on your social media. We have this constant struggle with social media where no one's real voice is coming out anymore. It's kind of like this carbon copy thing. Oh, all the Beachbody coaches today are posting about the new $160 deal. Let me go see what other people are posting and post that same thing. The most important thing to setting yourself apart from someone else is not being, you know, totally out of the box and totally different. Definitely get examples from other people. However, make sure it's said in your own voice, right? So those 3 people at the top, they would never say things in the same way because everything that comes out of their mouth is said from a different human being. Okay, so going along with this kind of idea of sharing versus selling, you know, it's interesting because people can get Beachbody programs from anywhere. They can get Beachbody programs from the Beachbody website, from an infomercial, from anywhere. Ultimately, someone doesn't buy a Beachbody program from you because they love the program. We are lucky that we have a company that has such stellar programs and products that kind of does the work for us, and it's internationally known. However, people buy from you because of your personality, because of what you're posting, because you're inspiring them, because you're like them, they relate to you. And a lot of people come to me and say, well, I don't know who I am. I'm not interesting. I don't really know anything that I have worthy to post. I run out of things to post every day. To find you, to find the you that those other people want to buy into, you have to make some lists, some very ordinary, seemingly super normal lists about you. Use those lists to make and then post on your social media with those lists. So ask yourself questions like, am I married? You know, what's my story with my spouse? Do I love donuts? Am I obsessed with my dogs? Do I live for Disney? Can I not wear heels? Am I afraid of flamingos? Do I love pit bulls? You know, think about the things that are ordinary, everyday things that you love. The posts that normally get probably the most interaction on my page are the ordinary stuff. If I'm posting, oh my gosh, you know, hit this rank or that rank, that normally doesn't get a ton of attention. What does get attention is, hey, I'm wearing my face mask and sitting on my couch and eating Halo Top. Those things get a ton of interaction because they're relatable, because you're both an inspiration, you're showing up every day, you're also showing those people that they can do it too. You know, the idea of a Beachbody coach in general is not, let's go to a studio and film these fancy things. The reason it works is we're normal people giving those peer-to-peer recommendations and being that inspiration for someone, but also setting yourself aside and saying, this is the kind of individual I am. Do you relate to me or do you not? And this is all kind of secretly forming into how you build your brand, how you find your voice, right? So here's the example that I was talking about. This would be a surface level post, right? Got my workout in. Did you? And this would be an example of a sharesman post. Same picture, however, I'm sharing why. I have weighed 124 since high school. I've been a very unhealthy 124. I've been a too skinny 124. I've been an anxiety-ridden 124, and now I'm a toned 124. And then it goes on to talk about why I'm doing my workout. Every single post you do doesn't have to be some grand, amazing post about your life story and why you're doing this. However, every post does have to have a why, right? It does have to have a reason behind it. So if you think about traditional marketing, right, old school marketing, no one pays for a commercial just because they want to have a commercial, right? You pay for a commercial because you have a product that will offer a solution and you want people to purchase it, right? Or you want to help people with it. And that's every single product. Now, a sharesman on your social media, which is free, by the way, so think of your social media page like a free commercial for new school marketing. So every single post should have a point and should have a purpose, right? So whether that's a post of you and your husband out on date night or you getting your workout in, there has to be a point behind that post. Nothing should be left undone on your social media. That is your commercial, right? So this is an example of that surface level post, and you guys can go to your pages and evaluate, okay, am I doing surface level or am I actually telling people who I am, why I'm doing it, and why they should be doing it too, right? Okay, so here's our new social media plan. Throw out the notion that you have to be interesting, incredible, have a big budget, run Facebook ads. We are living in a world that is literally catering to, handing us the upper hand, right? Everyone is moving to this forum. They have, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, but we were talking about this before, Wendy's and Burger King and all of these companies, they literally pay people to sit on Twitter and tweet out funny things about other companies because they know that gets the most attention now. They literally have teams of people who are essentially coaches, right, working for them to simply tweet back and forth between Wendy's and Burger King. And there was one that went viral they'll tweet out funny things like, what would you order at Burger King, or what would you ask for at Burger King? And then the tweet says, your money back. And that's how Wendy's went viral a couple weeks ago, because they have this team of people sitting there writing this stuff, which is crazy to me that that's literally what we do for our jobs. So if you think about things in a different way, you know, we are at the forefront of marketing right now. So take advantage of that. Number 2, drop 3 to 5 tidbits each day directly combating your market's insecurities, objections, reasons against. So this is a really interesting thing that we have the upper hand with that most companies do not. So we have the upper hand where our market, or the people who are interested, or the people who we want to change their lives with these products that we have in mind, you know, we have a running list. They are following us every single day. So we are lucky that we have the ability to address their concerns publicly right before our eyes. And what do I mean by that? This is kind of a hodgepodge of posts that I love that are combating objections about people seeing the value. Are you posting about how you saw the value? Are you posting about helping people look at things in a different way? Maybe helping people look at, you know, where their money's going, what they're spending money on, the kind of foods that they're putting in their body, how it could help them. Always taking ownership of that and posting directly, subliminally, dropping breadcrumbs in each little post about what is valuable about what you have, so that they can start to see it in a way, so you can start to bring that wall down, right? And they can start to see it in a way where the $160 going out is actually changing their lives, the way they eat, the way they think of things, also bringing a profit into their life. But everyone has a defense mechanism when someone comes to them with something, no matter what it is, and you need to do the job of bringing that down. We are lucky that we have our social media to be able to do that. So number 3, audit your new school infomercial. Think of your social media from this point going forward as your new school infomercial, right? If we think about that analogy of Shalene's old school PIO infomercial that flopped, right? So if you're someone, or you know someone on your team who's been posting, you know, got my workout in, great, you know, everything has to be perfect, everything has to be just so, or maybe they overthink it so much and, you know, they're becoming sort of a carbon copy. This is where you can kind of intervene and say, hey, you know, let's try being more relatable. Let's try talking about everyday things. Let's try doing these things. Here's how you can audit that. In one scroll of your social media, can I see you? Can I see your face? Do I know who you are? Can I hear your voice? If I read one of your posts, is that something that you would say in person? Do I know that you're a coach, right? Do I know that you have something for me to join? Do I have some questions answered? You know, if I come to your page and I'm already thinking about Beachbody, and I know that you do it, so I go to your page, I'm looking for something, right? I'm searching for, will this give me an answer? Is that a problem that I have? You know, I wonder how much it costs. I wonder if it's worth it. I wonder if it works for other people. Those are some of the things, some of the questions that go through everybody's head once they start to think about these things. So you have to get ahead of that on your social media and say, okay, what can I answer from my perspective, you know, being real and relatable. If I'm a mom, how was I able to afford that? How does that 30 minutes a day give me the energy to be a mom? And how did I find it? And how did I not find guilt in that? You know, maybe making a list of all the things that you needed to hear from your coach before you signed up. And then number 4, you absolutely must go first. So do you have results with the programs? If not yet, are you committed to getting some? Do you know others who have that you can feature? Peer-to-peer recommendations are so, so powerful. Probably the most powerful thing. I mean, if you think about like when you're booking a vacation, or you're thinking about buying a huge purchase, some furniture, a house, what do? You look at recommendations. You look at what people have to say about the area. You look at the reviews of the hotel. You look at, if you're going to a restaurant, you scroll through Yelp and see what the reviews are like. And if they're horrible, you don't go there. If you don't see any, you're like, this is kind of sketch, right? So you have to talk about, and one of my coaches comes to mind, Madison. She does a great job at this. She'll screenshot messages that she gets from people and post them. giving people kind of an insider behind the scenes view of what other people are getting, so that they're not just looking there and saying, oh yeah, this restaurant has 5 stars, but no one's ever eaten there. So you kind of have to have a really good balance of, I'm real, I'm relatable, this is what I offer, and this is what other people are saying about it, right? And that's kind of the collateral, the social media collateral that you'll have to start doing in order to create that consistency to move forward. So it's not about, you know, this person has a bigger following, this person knows how to post, this person has more time. It's not about that. It's about figuring out your voice using those lists, and then always knowing that it's never about being interesting or special or unique. It's about being real, relatable, and down to earth. That is all I have for you guys tonight. Let me just see, I saw a couple of comments. Oh, so Sabrina said, the thought of evaluating myself is making me cringe. I think that's interesting because we all get so self-conscious about evaluating our social media or saying things wrong. You guys, I said things wrong for 2 years and I still say things wrong. It's not about saying all the right things. It's not about never messing up. If you didn't do those wrong things, if I didn't have to go through this process, how would I sit on this call and explain it to you? If I didn't send the wrong messages, how would I know that those messages were wrong? How would I move forward, right? How would I do anything if I never failed? How would I know the right answers if I never got them wrong? So it's not about saying, oh man, I was doing that wrong, I suck, might as well stop, or might as well not evaluate it, or I'm scared to do it. It's about saying, okay, I know what I'm doing wrong now, and now I had a light bulb moment and I can change my social media moving forward, right? Everyone is capable, everyone has the power, but making those small little tweaks and knowing in the back of your head sometimes, okay, you know, it's not about being extraordinary or interesting or any of that kind of stuff. It's really about just being me and just talking about the programs and the products like a real person and reaching out to those people and combating their objections. Then it can start to turn into easy, fun, really kind of just helping people with who you are and what you already love. All right, guys, I love you all. Keep this call short and sweet, and I will see you soon. Have a good week.